Welcome, I am a llama. There are 40 cases in CS2, and in 8 of them, there's only one type of knife you can get, so I want to talk about them while ranking them, because there's some interesting cases here. Remember, I'm counting skins in the ranking also, so the Breakout case isn't number 1 by default. So from worst to best, here's all the knife-specific cases you can open, or rent, I guess, in Counter-Strike 2. In dead last is the CS20 case. Hey, I like the vision with this case. It just has mid-tier knives with mid-tier skins, making it pretty forgettable. The main thing I like about the classic knife is it's a decent budget option. If you're a super OG Counter-Strike player, then maybe this thing hits harder for you, but I was too busy being 2 years old or whatever. But overall, this is a decent budget knife. As for the skins, well, they're alright. Nothing special though. I've never loved the Wildfire, but the commemoration is pretty cool. I don't have much to say about either of them. I do think the Wildfire would go harder on the AK than the AWP, but they're two mid to decent skins, I guess. My favorite skin in this case though, without a doubt, has gotta be the MP9 Hydra. Hydra was my favorite operation and it's my favorite case even if I don't have a coin, so this is easily my favorite skin. That's really all I have to say about this case though. It's really just meh, and I think all the others are a little bit better. For number 7, I got the Shadow case. Low tier knives, top tier reds. I don't know what else to say. Okay, maybe I have a little bit more here. I don't hate the shadow daggers or anything, but there's so little blade to show off your finish on, which is my main problem with them. For budget knives, I think they're once again a decent option, but there's definitely better ones, like the classic knife. Back in 2018, I owned shadow daggers because it's all I could afford, but all I could get was a rust coat anyway, so I wasn't missing out. I do like how they spin though, that's pretty nice. I just wish the blades were a little bit bigger on this thing and they would go so far up my list. The one and only reason this case is not in dead last though is because of the two amazing red skins. The Kill Confirmed was and is such a cool USPS skin, and it is the clear choice for a red inventory or even if you just want a sick USPS skin. Even the Chinese version goes hard as hell, like what more could you ask for? And you cannot forget the Golden Coil. It is right up there with the Kill Confirmed as a really amazing red skin. The last skin I love from this case is the AK-47 Frontside Misty. I don't really know what to say about this skin that hasn't already been said. It is just amazing. It reminds me a lot of the Point Disarray with its kind of like abstract appearance, but it is really cool. That being said though, there's not much else that's really worth talking about this case, so let's move on to number 6. For number 6, I gotta go with the Falchion case. Once again, a kind of lower tier knife is dragging down an otherwise pretty solid case. I do like the Falchion case a lot more, and let me make it clear, the gap between this case and the last case is pretty large. I know a lot of people have a problem with the Falchion knives because the blade is tiny, but compared to the shadow daggers that we just came from, it is massive. There's still a decent amount of room to show off your finish on, and if you get something like a crimson web or even a marble fade, you can see the pattern on the handle, which I think is pretty cool because no other knife has that. I mean, I guess the skeleton knife does, but it's kind of blocked by that tape, so. Plus, you can't forget about that amazing rare animation that it has that everyone seems to love. I personally think that this is a pretty solid knife. The skins in this case are pretty good also. We got the Aquamarine Revenge, which is underrated if you ask me. I don't see them often in game anymore, which is kind of sad, but it also means they're pretty cheap as well, so. We also got the Hyper Beast, which is a skin that I've really liked, and maybe I liked it a little bit more when I was 14, but hey, that's fine. 14-year-old me was allowed to have opinions, even if they were all wrong. Lastly, I cannot move on from this case without talking about the Galil Rocket Pop. I mean, just look at it. It's beautiful, and it's a blue skin. How did this happen? How is this not a pink skin? You know, I am comfortable in saying this is the first good case on this list. The next good but not great case on this list is going to be the Gallery case. This case has a twin, but they are not identical twins. The other one got the looks, and this one got the, I don't know what it got. It got the Vaporwave, I guess. The Vaporwave is stellar though. This is a skin that's going to stay expensive for a long time. As for the knife in this case though, we're still kind of waiting to see where the Kukuri knife falls in the hierarchy of knives, but it looks like it's going to be around the mid tier where the Flip and Bowie is. I kind of like it even if the movements are all a little awkward, like what is it doing with all these extra little movements? It's kind of strange. I don't hate it, but I also do like the smoother movements of something like my Bayonet. Obviously this case has the same knives as the Kilowatt, but I put the Gallery case lower because I think the skins are just a little bit weaker overall. I already mentioned that the Vaporwave is really good, but the Gold Tooth is also pretty good. I'd take a Chrome Cannon over one personally, but two very solid red skins. The Neo Noir is also fine. I love the chrome finish on the mag. Mainly, I am just happy they decided to make it a pink instead of a red. The AK Outsiders is good as well. I mentioned that it has Fire Serpent vibes, and a lot of people got like, not mad, but were annoyed, but I'm just saying the art and colors kind of remind me of it, okay? I think you can see see what I'm talking about here. This case was obviously a welcome addition to the game, but also kind of falls in that good but not great territory. I definitely think a lot of people were disappointed when it had the exact same knives as the Kilowatt case instead of different finishes or something. And I was too. I definitely thought we were either going to get new finishes or new finishes on the cookery. For number 4, I gotta go with the Breakout case. And let me make it clear, there is one thing keeping this case from the bottom of the list, and you already know what that is. When opening these things, which I have never done because I'm too poor, it is gold or bust. Butterfly fades are selling for $3,500, and that's for a reason. They're one of the most desirable knives in the game. I think it's pretty funny that there was a time when butterfly knives were about the same price as bayonets. I would love to get my grubby little hands on a butterfly knife one day, but today is not that day, and neither is tomorrow. Nor this year. But I can dream, okay? Alright, so the rest of the cases in this skin suck. The Cyrex is not amazing, but also not bad. It's super inoffensive. It's like Valve just wanted to play it safe. If you said you love it, I'd believe you. But if you said you would like to condemn it to hell and let it burn for all eternity next to famed film actor Adam Driver because his shoulders are 666 miles apart, I would ask you to go to therapy and calm down because his skin isn't that bad. Anyways, the other red skin is the P90 Asimov. Obviously, the Asimov is a legendary skin, but on the P90, it feels less special than on the AWP or the M4. It's a little strange they went for this gun instead of a rifle or something, but it's fine. I have no problems with it. There's also the Deagle Conspiracy, which is pretty cool. I like this skin. You know, there's nothing really that bad about this case. It's just pretty underwhelming, except for the knives, which is why it places 4th and not like 6th. Alright, the first podium spot at number 3, we got the Kilowatt case. Once again, this case has the exact same cookery knives as the gallery case, so I'll skip over those, but the AK Inheritance and AWP Chrome Cannon is a 1-2 punch that would make Mike Tyson impressed. These are two beautiful skins that completely deserve all the hype they got upon release. I have not yet bought a Chrome Cannon, but I have wanted one since they released. It is so good. This isn't even counting the rest of the skins, which are pretty good and relatively cheap as well. Like the Black Lotus is out here looking fantastic for the price, and I see a lot of people who are using the Block 18. It's got some really good 3D effects on it. This case is just so good. Mid-tier knives and high-tier skins is enough to push this case all the way into number 3. Feel free to disagree on me with this one, but I think Valve knocked it out of the park with the Kilowatt. At number 2, I got the Wildfire case. This case is great, starting with the Bowie knives. The Bowies are cool, but not really my thing. I'm not a huge fan of the big curve thing they got going on here, but I do like there's at least 2 hands now. One thing that the Bowie is great for though is if you can afford a nice finish, this blade is massive to show it off on. Biggest blade in the game. This thing is definitely above average right here. But in terms of the knife itself, it's a little higher than the Falchion knife for me, but if you ask me, the skins in the rest of this case is what drags it all the way up to the number 2 spot. The AK fuel injector is amazing. S tier AK skin right here, a true 10 out of 10. I wish it was a little bit cheaper so I could get one, but hey, I'm just happy I get to look at this thing. I know the AK is the most popular gun in the game, but the amount of top tier skins on this thing still astounds me. It's awesome. In this case, we also got the Deagle Kamicho Dragon, which is an amazing Deagle skin that keeps finding its way into my videos somehow. The AWP Elite build is a decent skin, even if I don't like it personally. I know a lot of people really do. We do not talk about the M4A4 Battlestar. It doesn't exist. It's not in this case. Hey, the Nova Hyper Beast is a gun that exists. It seems like such a strange gun for the Hyper Beast to be put on, but for some reason, it just works. I love it in a, aw, you're so weird kind of way, you know? Even the lower tier skins in this case, like the Glock Royal Legion, are great. This thing is good and deserves stickers and more love, so go buy a Glock Royal Legion. Great case, top to bottom. If I liked the Bowie more, it could easily take number 1, but unfortunately I don't, so ha! Okay, the number 1 spot was pretty easy for me. After the Shadow case, this list was pretty close, except for this. I think the Huntsman knife is easily the best budget knife in the game, and best of all, no other knife on this list is the best dick pattern in the game except for the Huntsman dick pattern, which you can get from this case. What more can I possibly say? If you still need convincing that this is the best knife specific case in the game, allow me to try to convince you. We got good knives, and then we got the best array of gun skins out of any case here. Of course, led by the AK Vulcan. The fuel injector is an S tier skin, but this is like an S plus tier skin. A clean AK Vulcan is so good that it gives you cheats. It gives you aimbot. Jokes aside, this skin is good enough looking to be considered a GOAT along with the AK Case Hardened and Fire Serpent. 10 out of 10, no notes. But that's not all. The M4A4 Atomic Alloy is also great. A ton of Catocrafts exists on this thing, which is always awesome to see. The USPS Cayman is another favorite of mine. I've always wanted to own one of these, but just never got around to it. They're a little bit expensive now, and you know it's a good case when there's a Kami in it. I also love the pattern template it for commies. It's going in my next pattern video, but how could I resist showing it here? It's really good. When I rank cases and collections, you'll start to see a theme here that all the cases and collections that I love the most have great skins from the very top all the way down to the blue, and this case is no different. We've got the Tech 9 Isaac and the P90 module, which both look great despite being blue skins. This case is absolutely stacked all the way from the knives down to the blue skins. I'm forgetting one skin though that I refuse to acknowledge exists. So anyways, this is easily the best knife specific game in the case. I absolutely love it. If you disagree with me though, yell at me in the comments. I'll yell back at you, I promise. Well, looks like you made it to the case opening. I had a great break and I am ready to start making videos again. I have some really big plans for 2025, so stay tuned. As for the case, I have spent $72.50 and gained back about $8.15. Yikes. That is enough to buy I May Be Stupid shirt. I should just buy this anyway.